So this here is Dump HQ. This is our waste separation facility. Bit of an explainer. Maybe we'll make a tutorial out of this. But so this is the general separation facility. It took a technology in order to unlock the ability to make this, and it well we have to start delivering mixed waste into it. Or likewise, I could just enable this here, which I will. So this will start automatically feeding into it. Okay. Um, but the point is, it takes mixed waste and it will sort everything out into either construction waste, scrap metal, aluminum scrap, or plastic waste. And what it can't sort out, it puts in big waste bins, big waste containers. Okay. Um, and those have to be hauled out. Okay. So it can't necessarily get everything converted to something of value, but it gets quite a bit of stuff. What happens with the plastic waste? It goes on like a factory connection like this, and it goes to an open storage facility. Okay. I just want to check here. I was wondering if maybe it would be possible to even get a track to go. We could maybe do something like wind it around and go through somewhere else here. Maybe connect to this here. Let's see. Let's see if we can, just as a bit of a reminder, see if we can connect to. Okay, so that's something we might want to do in case we want to move stuff from this open storage facility directly over here somehow. But what it does is it converts, moves plastic waste, and it will go to open storage. And a bit of a tip, all the stuff that comes out of this building cannot be moved by forklifts. So if you're watching this as a tutorial and you're like, well, why don't I just set up a bunch of forklifts around it and haul all the stuff? You can't do that. All the forklift connections aren't actually meant for forklifts. Like these connections here, they're for passive use only. Okay, so this connection here, this forklift connection, will just passively move the plastic waste into here, and then later I will unlock this technology here called plastic recycling, which will make plastic. So we don't need to use our oil for that. We can use our oil for fuel and other things. Okay, like so we're just going to recycle our plastic here. And if we don't have enough of plastic waste coming in, we will. It's connected by train. We can have it. We can buy some and ship it in. Okay. I don't think it makes any money, to be honest, but therefore I wouldn't like. I'm not going to prioritize this. Like the goal right now is just to stockpile it and just put it through Dump HQ. Like the real win here is we're going to be able to get rid of all of our garbage. We're going to put it all in here. We'll have all the space freed up. Then we'll be sustainable long term too. We won't have to like be, we've been managing these dumps and having hassles with them the whole series. Okay, so that's coming to an end. Okay, this is where all mixed waste will go. But we'll stockpile as much plastic waste. Maybe in like 10 years, we'll have a huge storage facility full of it. And then we'll research the technology. Okay. And then maybe later we might need to buy some. Who knows, right? But also, this facility takes aluminum, processed aluminum scrap, which likewise has a technology for it as well over here. Aluminum recycling. That will be much later in the game. This is still 1971, so we're not going to see much need for that. But all the other things like the plastic waste goes to this open storage through the forklift path, but this conveyor belt here, it moves construction waste, metal scrap, and aluminum scrap all down the middle here. And then it splits into, I did this offline, obviously, 3 different facilities. It's not perfectly straight. It's really hard to get this straight, and frankly, I don't think it matters that much. It's just in order to fit everything, I'd have to do a lot of restructuring, and I don't care that much. I'm not. This is going to be a very, very big zone, and if I nitpick it too much, um, it's just not worth the time. There's other content it's costing, right? Opportunity cost. So you do one thing really good, that's at the cost of doing other things you needed to do. So that's the logic behind that for a slightly crooked conveyor belt. But this might actually be like it, I tried so many different ways. This is just like literally pixel differences. And I've gone over it so many times, I don't think I can do it other than having a little bit of an angle here. Um, there are some issues with the way like you'll notice here the forklifts, there are no forklift connections on the left side of this building. They're all like it was everything's wrong, right? I needed forklifts connections on this side and conveyors on this side, but there are none on that side, so I had to move it up here. There was no way to connect it to this dump otherwise. Um, and to move this dumps around would take years, and I don't want to waste years on a slight misalignment. It just seems like a waste. So, anyways, long story short, all the other three aggregates go down here, and they go into three different bins. So this will be either steel or aluminum. This will be steel or aluminum. And this is our construction waste. Currently, we're paying for it, but soon we won't have to. Soon we'll just we'll have basically free gravel, and I think there is quite a bit of it in the mixed waste. So there's also this scrapping facility. Two of the outputs are scrap metal and scrap aluminum. So I wanted to make sure it could fit in with these two scrap aluminum and metal bins, just because later, once we have to start scrapping vehicles, again, it's not being built, but I just want to make sure everything lines up. But what I will do, now that this is built, I do want to actually build these storage bins here. And I don't know if, let's put a bit of gravel on these. Let's do that because it would look just a little bit better. I just want to make sure this road here is as nice looking as possible too. We'll just do a little bit of road tidy up. Actually, that might look a little bit better. It's kind of, I want it to go to the right a little bit just because I think most stuff will come from this side. And let's make that into gravel. And let's start building all these, okay? Now that we have our we're going to have to work on these. These will be our construction projects. We want to automate as much of the transportation of it as possible, right? We want to basically get it directly into these bins. And okay, and these ones here, they don't need to be built. So yeah, this is sort of I guess. Oh, and another and a bit of a tip too with the general separation facility. This thing here, I think I'm pretty sure there's a glitch with this building. You can either only use the walking path or the aggregate. It's one or the other. So just keep that in mind. Like this, as of filming this in May of 2025, Cinco de Mayo today, by the way, while recording. It's probably much later when you're watching this. It's pretty hot though today. It's going up to 30 for 30 Celsius in the Soviet Celsius system. But it can either only be aggregate conveyor or a walking path. And there aren't many walking paths, so I chose the walking path. It looks like you can fit two, but you have to pick one or the other on that side. They're just too close together. Maybe they'll separate it a bit in an update, so that doesn't happen. But that's just the way it works right now. So yeah, and then once you get to separate the aluminum and separate the metal scraps, you have steel recycling and aluminum recycling here, right? But they require technologies. So I guess that's a bit of a tutorial on how that works. So let's just start the game here. And let's start enabling the construction of a bunch of these things. Yeah, so that's generally how. So the other thing too is you got to make sure you have large garbage bin trucks. These ones here specifically, the big garbage containers, they got to service it and pull out the garbage when it's processed. And you have to also feed it garbage too. So one thing we could do, the first thing we should do actually, is this is going to be this technical service office needs to change where it sends mixed waste. So instead of our dumps have been full for a bit, so we've been just wasting it. Like we could have probably 1 or 2 more dumps full of garbage, but just ran out of space, and I thought it wasn't worth just throwing like some permanent dumps down, not knowing specifically if they're going to be used or not. So once you have your general separation, now technically I should be dropping it off here, but this is full, this dump, okay? And we're working on the road. You can just drop it directly to the facility for now. So this is what you do once you get your general separation facility done. Technically, it might not be worth the gas to send it out here, but just in case, I don't think there's much garbage picking up from over there. And just go through all your technical offices, all your construction facilities. We'll change this up later once we have more. Once our this connection's built and this dump is empty, but this is just the way it is for now. So yeah, then you send the dump over, and then you obviously got to send workers. You know, I built a bus stop here in walking distance, and I think they'll be able to get to work through this path. And that's how this is how you build a sustainable city. Does it make money? I don't know. I don't know. I know money's a scam, but does it adhere to the rules of scamming? Not sure. Not sure. May or may not work. Again, we start with the basics and we'll expand this accordingly, depending on cash flow. Otherwise, the main focus will be to make money, right? So we don't go off the cliff. So that's basically how waste separation works in the game. And I believe only realistic mode has this. You won't see this in the campaign, or I don't know if the tutorials do much with it. But yeah, and just to emphasize something too, like if you, for example, convert scrap metal, once we unlock this technology, the steel recycling, it just produces steel. And then later on, you could just go into an advanced industry and which takes steel and creates mechanical components. You can unlock this technology, which is an even more advanced technology. So basically, we're going to ultimately, one of the objectives of the game is to unlock vehicle production, right? So we're going to take garbage and convert it into cars if we can survive that long. So we'll see how we do with that. But yeah, that's just the gist of waste separation.